And then I'll cut some meatball up. And we have a little charcuterie board here. I'll get some cheese, throw some meatball down. Okay. Might put some olive down. Some olive down. I'll put a little piece of bread on top. Look at it. Look at it. And then I dig in. That's so delicious. And welcome to Cooking with Vincent. Today we will be making beef, veal, and pork meatballs, or as most Italians call them, just meatballs. First, we have to clean our onion. I've already done that off camera, so you don't have to endure watching it. We're gonna need roughly 1/4 of an onion for this recipe. What we wanna do is we wanna chop it as finely as possible. We're gonna put some slices in the face of the onion, and then we're gonna cut the other direction as well. You can see we want it chopped very finely. Now that's not gonna be the final form of our onion. I'm gonna show you in a minute what we wanna do, because we're gonna mix this into the meatball. We don't want onions hanging out of the finished product. We want it as fine as possible. You can continue to chop it if you'd like. I have an alternative method that I'm going to be using. Next up, we're gonna wanna chop up some garlic. Also very fine. I'm gonna go with 5 cloves of garlic. We have a little over 1 pound of beef, veal, and pork meat. So I feel like 5 cloves should season it just enough. We're gonna chop that up very fine as well, or slice it, as some people like to say. Once again, not the final form of the garlic. A lot of times online, you'll see arguments about the best meat for meatballs. Some people prefer just straight beef meatballs, but I feel like the veal and the pork, I think the pork adds a lot of additional flavor to the beef, and I think that the veal just smooths it out, makes the flavor smoother. We're gonna need some parsley, and there's nothing worse than a meatball that's not seasoned enough. So I like to use a lot of herbs and spices. Rinsed our parsley, we're gonna pat it dry, and then we're gonna peel it or take it off the stem. De-stem it? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Bring it from the bottom side and pull it through your fingers. Generally, it'll take all the leaves off. Now, if you're not gonna use my hidden technique, what you'd probably wanna do is start to rough chop this, but also continue until it's very fine, because you don't want the parsley to be coming out of the meat sphere, the meat ball, after it's rolled. Next up is going to be basil. And I actually have some dried basil that was in the freezer, or frozen basil that we had grown. Seems to keep nicer. And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna put all of the ingredients in this cup right here. We're gonna put our parsley in there, as well as our onion. And our garlic. Next step, gonna help to emulsify this. We're gonna use an immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, I suggest you buy one. If you're gonna be doing any amount of cooking, this is going to be invaluable. But to use an immersion blender with these herbs and spices, it's not gonna emulsify if you just try to chop it up. You could probably get it done, but this is what I'm going to do to help it. It's an ingredient that we're gonna need in the recipe anyway. We're gonna add our egg to our cup. Once that's in there, we want our garlic, parsley, basil, egg, onion. We want it smooth. Okay. We're on to the next steps, which would be to mix our meatballs. What we're gonna do is add our pound of beef, veal, and pork to our bowl. We wanna make sure we get all of our beef, veal, and pork. We're then gonna add our egg mixture to our meat. So we're gonna grab our spatula, scrape the inside of our container clean. See? Next, we're gonna salt and pepper. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna count this off. This is the black pepper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 twists on your pepper mill. Salt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twists on your salt mill. The next ingredient we're gonna be adding is grated Locatelli or Pecorino Romano cheese. You're gonna be adding exactly this much. You know, as some people say, the more cheese, the better. Eyeball-wise, it's about 3 tablespoons of grated Pecorino Romano cheese. We're gonna need some breadcrumbs. A lot of people will go bananas when they see that I'm using breadcrumb instead of fresh grated bread or dried bread or something with bread in milk and all that craziness. You could do it. I'm just not going to. You're gonna be adding about this much breadcrumb. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna begin to mix our mixture here. We're gonna feel the consistency. Sometimes the meat might have more moisture than other times. We might need more breadcrumb, but we'll only know by beginning to mix it. There's another secret step that a lot of people, they don't do. I do. I'm gonna share it with you today. It is a long family tradition within our cooking heritage to do this final step a lot of people don't do. Let's start mixing this up. We're just gonna get our fingers in there, start mixing her around. I'll show you what it looks like as we're mixing it. Just keep kneading and folding it over. And we have a nice amount of moisture. Here's the thing with the meatballs, especially with the way we do the onions in this recipe, and I suggest you do it the same way. It adds a nice amount of flavor, but it also puts a nice amount of moisture into the meat, and it helps to give a smoother texture to the meat mixture, and it will come through when you're eating the meatball. We don't want any of it getting away. We definitely need some more breadcrumb. I could feel it from the texture. You could see how, and this is one of them things, it's just a feel. Like, how can I relay this to all of you? The best feeling for the meat mixture in itself, because you don't want it to be overly wet, but it can't be too dry either, because then the meatballs won't hold together. Got a little bit more breadcrumb in here. These are a seasoned breadcrumb. I'm gonna add that in. We're right there. We're on the precipice of greatness for the meatballs. The best part is, when you use the immersion blender, you could see there's no huge pieces of garlic or onion or even parsley or basil. It makes for a smoother finish in the mouth. And if you have children, you don't have to worry about those big green pieces, the kids don't like to see. You can see how it's holding together. And it's not necessarily sticking to my hand. I feel like this is the consistency you want for a good meatball. Now, we're gonna roll these, okay? We're just gonna break off just enough. We're gonna put it in the center of our hand. You want consistency when you're making and rolling your meatballs, because you want to put them in a pan and you want them all to finish relatively at the same time. So you want them to be somewhat consistent in size. Now, some people like a larger meatball, some people like a smaller meatball. As long as they're all consistent, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you like. Okay, let's see, they're roughly the same size. Generally, from a pound of meatballs, we get about 12. We can roll about 12 separate meatballs out of that single pound. So 16 ounces in a pound, 12 meatballs. So every meatball would be a little over an ounce. Five. 6. Seven. 8. 9. 10. And 11. We got 11 this time instead of 12. Could have made some of the earlier balls a little smaller. And maybe got one more meatball. We could actually do that. Maybe we'll make a tester meatball. Might not be as big as the others, but it will give us our 12. And plus the missus, she'll get her little taster meatball, tester meatball to make sure it's all good. You have our meatballs. Here's the hidden step. A lot of people don't do that I like to do. I bread the outside of my meatballs. A little breadcrumb in the bowl. I don't egg wash these or add any other unnecessary steps. I'll just get some breadcrumb, put it in the bowl, and then I'll roll the meatball in the breadcrumb right before I fry it. I think it gives a nice crisp crust. And we like to, in our house, we kind of serve the meatballs with the charcuterie board. So we could put the meatball, we eat it with some bread, just fried, not necessarily in the sauce. You can add it to the sauce and cook the meatballs in the sauce with the other meats, but we enjoy them just fried. All right, we're all breaded up. We're gonna put these on a nice little plate. We're gonna get ready to fry them. So at this point, we're ready to go into the oil. I'm gonna show you what that looks like right now. I'm gonna put these down. I'm gonna turn on our vent. We like to use peanut oil for frying. It's a high temperature oil. We just wanna coat the bottom of the pan. This way, it'll come up about halfway to the meatball. We're gonna light our stove and we're gonna put it on high. Let's start straightening it up a little bit here. Here's the deal. The extra onion, not really a big deal. We're gonna be making sauce after this. But I don't know if I'm gonna be making a video on that. Let me know down in the comment section below. You wanna see how we make our sauce or gravy? You know, here in Philadelphia, generally if it has meat in it, we call it gravy. We put the lid on the pot just to help it reach temperature. It's a nice cast iron pot. Really holds the temperature of the oil as we're cooking. If you're wondering, we're pairing this cooking video with the Dow 2023 Cabernet Sauvignon. This one, it's real nice like. We have a little cork in there. Oh, that's good. Now, a way to test to see if your temperature's correct, you drop some breadcrumb in there. See if we get a little sizzle. We need another minute. Whoa, nice sizzle. We're at it around the edge. Making the old ring of meatballs. Got our old tester. That'll be done faster than the rest of them. The meatball will let you know the time to turn it because as it's cooking, it will release from the bottom of the pan. If we tried to turn this meatball right now, it would be stuck to the bottom of the pot, you'd lose half your meatball. When you're cooking the meatballs, when they're ready to be turned, they'll release themselves so you can spin them over. Now we're gonna put the lid on, cracked. Oh, they smell good already. That will help to keep the heat in like an oven and get some extra heat into the top or in the center of the meatball so they cook more evenly. All right, exactly 3 minutes has gone by. Psych, I'm only joking. We literally just cook by the sense of what we're hearing and the smell. You could see it's ready to turn. It's released itself already. That's how we know it's ready to go. We're gonna flip it over. They're browned, nice on one side. We're gonna flip them over in the direction that we put them in the pot. Nice. And our tester. All right, we'll put the lid back on for another couple minutes. You can see here, we're still at around the high range or medium high because we don't want that temperature to drop too much. Let's take a look here. I like them a little bit darker. Although these are brown, pretty doggone good. Hey, look, it's just scrumptious. I'm gonna give them another, we're at 236 on this clock. I'm gonna give them until 238. This way they get heat through them. Maybe get a little bit more of a crust on the meatball, but they're almost ready. I can't wait to cut into it. It's gonna be so good. All right, it's now 2:38. I gotta be honest. I wanna give them just a couple more minutes. See, they're nice and brown now on the opposite side. Let's flip them back over. Look at that crust. I want more of that crust on there. Now, if you want your meatballs lighter and you don't like so much of a crust, you can pull yours out now. I want to just equalize that crunch out, that crust. So I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to give them 2 more minutes on this side. Ooh, look at them. And here's the deal. It's going to be nice and juicy inside as well. 241. Yeah! They're ready to go. I'm going to turn off the heat. We have that nice crust on both sides. It's nice and juicy in the middle. They'll have a nice amount. They're not going to be overly hard, right? We're going to put them on a piece of paper towel. This way, it'll soak up some of the earls that we cooked them in. Look at them. Look at them. I'm going to pull that taster out. Here's the deal, though. I don't think the test taster meatball is not going to cut it today for the missus. She's going to want something bigger for helping out. So now you can see they're all cooked up. What we'll do is we'll just pat them down a little bit. Then we'll transfer them to a bowl. Let's see. We're ready to go. There's the little taste tester. You want this now? Yeah, I bet it is.
Nice crust.
Yeah. That's my meatball. Let me. I could cut it open. Usually I would just, we'd just eat it, but I'm gonna cut this baby open so you could see. Look how nice. Look how nice and juicy in there. Oh God, it smells so good. Mmm.
Delicious.
Seasoned so well, not hard. Look at it. That's delicious. Well, here's the deal. I guess most people will be like, oh, go down the description, give you the full recipe and the times. But I don't know. We just cook by taste and touch and smell. Just watch the video and re-engineer it back from the beginning. I'll tell you. Look at that. Look how juicy. Oh, that's good. Wow. That's the breadcrumb on the outside. It just gives it the next, it's like the next level. Like it has like such a good crust. It just, I don't know how, it just feels velvety almost. Well, if it's just a veal with a breadcrumb. Delicious. Some nice bread here from Sarcone Bakery in South Philadelphia. Oh, it's so good. Ooh, yeah. Okay. I like to open it up. And then I like to get a meatball. And then I'll cut some meatball up. And we have a little charcuterie board here. I'll get some cheese. Throw some meatball down. Okay. And then I'll look and see what we have. We got some roasted pepper. Oh, you know what? Before we put the roasted pepper, I might put some olive down. Put some olive down. Yeah. A little roasted pepper. Ooh. I put a little piece of bread on top. Oh, look at him. Look at him. And then I dig in. That's so delicious. It is so good. Just fried. Makes it like even more versatile. Like meatballs don't need to just go in the gravy and serve with the pasta. It could be part of the charcuterie. What do they call that? When you have the different, what is it, like the appetizer portion. What do they call that though? It's not like a level 1 boss. Like it's called like a what? The meze. It doesn't have to just be with your pasta. It could be served with the antipasto portion. It could be served as an appetizer. It could be handed out as something to just get people all excited. I get excited. Look at that.